Hi, Mark Robertson back with you on my site, Carrying Lawn Chairs. It's named after my book, Carrying Lawn Chairs, Youth Sports and Other Parental Mindsets. And as I mention each time, the book is divided into two parts. The first part deals with all the problems I have with organized youth sports for kids. I'm against organized youth sports for kids 12 and under. That sounds like a sacrilege to America and to the world. But they're not having fun. It's all about the parents. You got screaming parents in the stands watching t-ball players and worrying about if they don't play good in t-ball, they're never going to make it. And it's just ridiculous and crazy in my mind. And it's not what they want to be doing. And so I'm against it. It's just crazy. They're not, even older ones, 8, 9, 10. I mean, you got things called father's pitch. Okay, what I understand is if a pitcher walks a guy, they don't walk. Then the father comes out and pitches. Is that crazy or what? I'm all for pickup games. Let them play make-up games. Make-up games like Indian ball, like I used to play. I don't have any fond memories of playing organized youth sports. I remember boys baseball is what I played. It's the same as Little League. And ages 10 to 12. And we would play a game, and every team seemed to have a great player. And they were usually the 12-year-olds, and they could hit home runs, and they could pitch really fast. Well, if you're a 10-year-old going up and hitting, trying to hit it, you don't even hit. You can't even see the pitches. And some 10-year-olds are like 9 or 8-year-olds. And some 12-year-olds are like 13 and 14-year-olds. So it's not fun. And then you got all these adults in the stands, these guys. Well, this guy should be on my team next year. It's all they're making kids into little adults, and they're not little adults. Oh, but it seems so Americana. All these kids on the field dressed in uniforms like the major leaguers. It's Americana, the Little League World Series, which I'm against. I mean, there are very few from the Little League World Series who make the major leagues. You got guys coming from the Caribbean countries. They poor, they grow up, they don't even have money for baseball, but they play games, they throw bottle caps at each other like Henry Aaron did, and they become great major leaguers. And they have a desire to escape the poverty, and they want to be Major League Baseball players. And that's what it is. It's not starting kids at a young age in hopes that they'll be major leaguers someday. It's just ridiculous. And the second part of the book deals with so many other things that young people face these days, from adults, leftist adults, perversion, government schools. The government schools have got to go. Kids were taught much better in one-room schoolhouses. It has to become local. Thankfully, President Trump is dismantling the Department of Education. It's a disaster. By every measure, government education has declined since the Department of Education came about. And what do all these people do? They're getting six-figure salaries for doing what? Nothing. I mean, it's just ridiculous. But anyway, what I'm going to talk about today is a major emphasis in my book, Carrying Lawn Chairs. And you can get that on Amazon. You got to go to the book section. It doesn't show up in a general browse. But anyway, I know some people who are very fine people. I really like them, and I almost hate to talk about this, but they've got a wonderful 3-year-old daughter. And I heard this week that they're putting her in dance. They're going out to get some shoes for her dance class at age 3. And it's crazy. And another friend of my family's, she helps there's a league called 3-year-old T-ball. This is crazy. They don't want to be there. Their parents, what is the mentality? It seems to be an invisible force that these people are thinking, oh, I got to get my child in sports so early, or dance class so early, so they have a chance to make the major leagues. If I don't get them started early, because we're inferior, and they can never make the major leagues if they don't start at age 3, and they got to learn how to swing level on a T-ball, and then they got to learn to run, and they got to learn all the basics. It's not about fun. It's all about getting prepared for future steps along the way, and they're not enjoying it. And I'm not saying that everything has to be about fun. They can't have any discipline. Got to keep their rooms clean and do things like that. But it's not fun. Organized youth sports, the kids are not having fun. It's all about the adults and their self-worth. I mean, I used to work with a sports organization, and there were cheerleaders. And once a year they would have a clinic for young girls who wanted to be cheerleaders someday. there were mothers bringing 3-year-olds in to go to cheerleader clinics. I mean, it's madness. What is going on? What is this mindset? It's like it's automatic pilot. You got to get your kids started so young. You got to get them in soccer at age 3 or t-ball, or I've even seen youth football. They don't start them at 3, but maybe they start them at 6, and some of these kids, their helmets are almost bigger than they are. This is all madness. This is all about the parents thinking that their kid is going to be the next Johnny Unitas or Joe Montana or Tom Brady or who knows who, George Brett in baseball. Or it's just, I don't get it. And I used to coach a soccer team. I don't know anything about soccer, but my neighbor asked me to coach it, and this was probably 30 years ago. But I'd had parents call me up and tell me I got to do these drills different, and they need to learn their footwork, and you got to teach them this, teach them that. And I said okay, and just hung up and didn't pay any attention to them. But then in the game, you'd have all these parents on the sidelines, and they were just so into these games. It's just mind-boggling. What is going on? These kids aren't having fun. They aren't playing. I mean, there might be the mindset that they think that play is a waste of time. We got to get them in something organized so they'll get some discipline in life, or they're never going to make it. So we got to get them started in dance and in baseball and t-ball at age 3, or they're never going to be disciplined. The thing is, they don't have any fun. They don't have any great memories. I have great memories of playing a thing called Indian ball at the park. And you could play with as few as 2 people. And we'd play for hours. We'd throw the ball up and hit it. You'd have one fielder out there. If they caught it on the ground, it was an out. And if they caught it in the air, it was an out. That you could hit home runs. And it was a blast. And we'd play games where we just have a pitcher and catcher. And we'd do innings. And the catcher would make the calls if it's a strike or a ball. And we'd have fun doing that as well. And you're having fun. And you're learning how to pitch, and you're learning how to hit. It's just organized sports. I've said this every time in the last few shows. Yogi Berra, the great Yogi Berra, he's got 10 World Series rings. Where did he learn to play baseball? On the sandlots of the Hill in St. Louis. He didn't play Little League sports. He has said that he would any day take a kid who played on the sandlots over a kid who plays Little League, because you could bat 40 times a day in sandlot baseball, whereas in Little League you might bat 3 or 4 times and you're not having fun because you've got screaming parents in the stands telling you how to hit, and other guys, and it's just not, it's dysfunctional in my mind. These organized sports for kids, and these parents, they're so obsessed with their kids getting ahead. Oh, you're never going to get ahead if you don't start young. And the kids don't like it, but they want the love of their parents, so they think, well, my parents want me here, so this is where I must be or should be, and they're not having fun. So then they learn that they can't do anything where they like to do, because they get confused. They don't know what they like to do or don't like to do, because they want the love of their parents, and they think their parents are everything, especially to the young kids, and they don't. It is just crazy. Organized youth sports is crazy, and for kids now 13 and above, that's great. I've read stories. Many people have great memories of playing sports teams, and they go back and get together with people. I don't have any great memories of playing organized youth sports. I tried to play in high school. I mean, I didn't play until I was a senior, because we had a great team when I was a junior. And I wasn't a great player. I had some hits and things, but it was fun. I still have some good memories of that. And but I don't have any memories of Little League baseball, boys baseball is called. And the parents, this is my biggest pet peeve. This is why I put that book together, Carrying Lawn Chairs. The title of the book is, you have these parents come to these games, and they drop their kids off, and then they get the lawn chairs out of the car, and they're walking toward the field. What is going through their mind? And that's my whole focus. I don't know what's going through their mind. What is it all about? What is this obsession with youth sports all about? It's crazy. It's, like I said, an invisible force going through society, that we got to start our kids at age 3 in t-ball, or they're never going to be a Major League Baseball player. And it's just crazy. Let them go out and play. Now, it seems that many parents they think play is a waste of time. It's not only not a waste of time, it is such a necessity for kids to grow up and to develop well. And we talk about this too in learning. Kids learn differently. They say, "Oh, there's studies showing they don't." They do. That's crazy. And some kids, I mean, putting some kids in a classroom all day for 6, 7 hours, that is torture. And then they have a hard time in school, and then they put them on medication, and it's just crazy. They learn in different ways, and it's people have different minds. Then look at neurodiverse minds or neuro-ordinary minds, neuro-normal minds, or whatever. Most people probably are neuro-normal minds, but some have neurodiversity where they think differently, their minds work differently, and they're needed. They're the ones like Elon Musk, who just made $1 trillion. Yeah, he's worth the first trillionaire, and he started with nothing, and he had ideas. And I heard yesterday he started PayPal and made $100 million off of that. Now, most people could say he's probably in his 30s, that they could just take that $100 million and make $10 million a year on interest off of it and live the rest of their lives. But nope, he put that whole $100 million into his rocket design and business, and it basically was a failure at the start, but he hung with it and got a rocket to go up, and he was offered $1.5 billion for it. And so you got different thinkers that we need, and you got some that are accountants, and but what I'm saying is, you don't need to start your kid. Starting kids that young gets them away from play, gets them away from learning who they really are in play. It disrupts play. Little League sports disrupts play and development, and I really believe that. I know that's an idea that is in such a minority, but I just, that's the way I think about it. And but it's something that I think I wish parents would get away from that. Now it's a dream of mine to get that to happen. It doesn't look like any time in the near future, but I'm going to keep talking about it and pushing it, and let kids play. Let them play at the park. Let them enjoy their summers. Let them enjoy childhood. Let them go outside, maybe ride a bike. Yes, I know it's crazy these days. There's crazy people out there. But there has to be a little bit of letting go and risk. Now, that doesn't mean you can't have boundaries and say, well, you can't go here, you can't go there, you can't play with them, you can't play with the other people. Yes, and I'm not saying it's easy to raise kids, but they've got to be able to play. And you can't look at your child as they are somehow defective. There's no child that is defective. They're all gifts from God. Now, this sounds maybe just pie in the sky thinking, and we got to get these kids, they're lazy. No, they know what they want to do. Have you ever seen a child age 1 to 3? They're never bored. You put them in a room, they'll always find something to do. They're never bored. You learn to be bored, and it's growing up. Got to get these kids, get them on the right track. Now, again, I'm not against schooling. I'm against government schooling. And kids should learn the basics, and but we're taking so much away from kids if we disrupt their play. And what about the pioneer days when kids they had a bunch of kids so they could help on the farm? Well, yes, I understand that, but even then, kids played. No child in history was born not wanting to play. That's who they are. That's what they do. And this stuff like 3-year-old t-ball, 3-year-old dance class, it gets in the way of that. And I really think it's harmful to kids. And I think that it's got to be, we have to have a change of direction. And then they go to these schools. And then they got the peer pressure. And they got no God in schools. And it's just so much in society right now is going in the wrong direction. And it's because of this, because kids aren't raised. And we got the welfare state and all of that. And it's such a mess right now. And bad government policy brings that around. But my point is, again, that these kids, 3-year-old t-ball, that just, I'm still blown away by that. I heard that from a friend of our family's that they were involved in that. And it's just the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. I think t-ball's the dumbest thing, but then 3-year-old t-ball, I mean, my God, it's crazy. What is it all about? Who are these parents? What is going on? They're on automatic pilot. They think it's a normal thing to do. We got to start them young, or they're never going to have a chance to succeed in this world. Just the opposite. Let them play. Let them play and be a child for as long as they can be a child. And then they'll know who they are. They'll be better adjusted for life, and they'll be much happier in life. And rather than putting in them all this garbage, and it's kind of cruel. There's a lot of people have a lot invested in getting kids started young in t-ball and dance. There's a lot of sales of gloves and bats and balls and everything else, and but it's ridiculous. And then I'm sure on this t-ball field, I haven't seen the 3-year-old t-ball, but I'm sure there are fathers out in the field, all the way around the field, telling them where to go, where to run, and do all this. It's crazy. It's crazy. A father would be better off getting a wiffle ball and a wiffle ball bat and pitching to a 3-year-old just for the fun of it, if they want to do that. And they don't even have to do that. Let the kids just play in the yards. They'll figure out something. They don't need to start at age 3. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And it's dysfunctional, and it, I believe, makes kids somewhat dysfunctional. Like I said, because they think this is where my mom and dad want me to be, so maybe I should be here, and I don't want to be here, but I got to do what they say, or they won't love me. And it's pathetic. It is just pathetic. That it harms them. And again, I'm not a parental guru. I don't have all the answers. I just observe things and see things. And this picture is dysfunctional. Kids playing t-ball, age 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't care what their ages are that young, but it's the same thing. It's ridiculous. It's all about the parents, and it's about them thinking that their kid's going to get ahead. But then we can be famous, and oh my gosh, we get all this adulation, and then we can go travel sports. People see our big SUV, they think, oh, there's a successful family. And it's a lot about that too. It's a lot about parental esteem, keeping up with the Joneses, having something that, oh, my sons did this or they did that on the field. And it's a mess. It's crazy. Now, again, I don't put every parent into this mold or whatever it is, but a vast majority of them are there. It's like, again, it's automatic pilot. It's what they do. It's like people going through the motions. We got to put 3-year-olds in t-ball, and it's awful. And I don't totally understand their mindset, but it is a mindset. It's like an automatic pilot mindset. It's like they're in a daze that they've got to do this and they got to be there, and they got to get there. And we got to see if they have any potential to be a great player, and then they got to hit the ball level in t-ball. And then probably on the way home, the parents say, oh, you didn't swing level, and all this other garbage. And we've talked about the situation in Norway where they have 6 million people, but they dominate the Winter Olympics. I'm not against sports. I like sports. But I'm against putting young kids in. They've got a program where kids just go play. They might put on some skis, the little skis like that, or they got the little ski jumps, or some of them might like to skate. And then a few of them, very few, they see some potential in. They put them in a program that trains Olympic athletes. But they don't start them young. I know other people have disagreed with that, but the story is they don't start them young. They just let them play, and they'll figure that out. So, and they'll be better. Norway's dominant in the Winter Olympics, so they're better. They're better anyway. They're what those parents want, and they get that by just letting them play freely on the snow or wherever they want to do. And if they don't make the Olympics, well, they have fond memories of growing up, playing in the snow and just trying things out and doing this, going off a little ski jump and maybe ice skating, like I said. And that's what you do. You don't start them young and try to get them to learn how to do proper footwork at age 3 or swing level at age 3. It's so insane. So insane. It's got to stop. So that's about it for today. I'll keep pounding this, so we've got to stop this abuse of children at a young age. So we thank you for joining us on Carrying Lawn Chairs. We'll see you next time.